What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Realistic Career Mode, episode number 24, second episode of the new season as we continue our rebuild of Manchester United. Yep, still a 4.5 star team, and that is not going to cut it if we want to get Manchester United back to the glory days. Obviously Sanchez coming to lead our line. I'm very excited to use him for the first time ever as a different option up top in our front three. Elliot Anderson coming in, being retrained to right wing back. That might be a master stroke, guess we'll have to wait and see. And obviously got a new backup goalkeeper in as well. Other than that though, I mean, there's no quality basically on the bench, let alone in the resi. So today it's all about adding to that squad depth and possibly bringing in one or two more stars as well, and starting at centre back. And I've got a lot of names on the shortlist, and the man I really want is the current Manchester United player, but he's moved on in the save to Inter Milan. That is Leny Yoro. Great young defender as we know, but unfortunately, Inter right now, as we know in real life, second Champions League final in 3 years. Right now a CL team, one of the best in the save, but Manchester United not a Champions League team, even a Europa or Conference League team. Yes, with that being the case, I think we'll leave him there at the San Siro as he's playing in prime time right now. But I'd love to go after this guy. There's a few players I've signed here before, including Antonio Silva and Morato, but I've never signed Murillo before, and we know how good this guy's been this season under Nuno at Nottingham Forest. 5'11", but not a major concern with 85 jumping to counteract that. He's really quick, so can play in a high line with 90 strength and defensively as well. Excellent tackling stats, 88 defensive awareness, and comfortable on the ball, and the bonus, left-footed as well, so in our back five can fit in as the LCB. Never used him? Let's bring him in. There's many reasons why Nottingham Forest have been so impressive this season, and this guy is one of the main reasons why. Absolutely elite defender on his day, and to think he's only in his early 20s as well. He has got such a bright future, whether he stays at the City ground or goes elsewhere. In this save, he's now making a move. He's coming to Manchester and coming in for £60 million on a 5-year, 90 grand a week deal. The perfect fit for our back five. Welcome to Old Trafford, Murillo. Yep, really excited to give him a go for the first time ever, and I don't normally sign centre-halves that are under 6 foot. I guess you could accuse me of being a bit old school in that way, but it's not really going to make that much of a difference when you've got 90 strength, 85 jumping. And when you think of some of the class centre-halves over the years, are you going to tell me that Carlos Puyol, Javier Mascherano, they weren't good enough being sub-6 foot? Barcelona fans will tell you, absolutely not. Murillo coming in, buzzing to give him a go for the first time ever, and again, perfect for our five at the back with that left foot. Yeah, when I was younger, I mean, the old school kind of principles were drilled into me, like, from a very early age. You know, you put your fullbacks on the posts, on corners, you know, your centre-halves have got to be the tallest men on the pitch, and it's like, the game has evolved so much. It's really not that big of a deal now, especially as a lot of passes are played into the box on the ground as opposed to floated in like back in the day. And again, at 5'11", it's 1 extra inch going to make the difference between losing a header and winning it. I mean, you know, maybe on the very rare occasions, but not really. I mean, I ain't got an issue with it anymore. And I think that's just how my kind of thinking has evolved over the years as well, as opposed to just the game evolving too. I've realised now that the game's in a different place to how it used to be. And I think most managers would say, listen, your height is not as important now as how comfortable you are on the ball when passing out from the back, and Murillo definitely can do that. So looking at the team now, I'm fine with the starting 11 really. It's just this I'm concerned about, the lack of quality and depth. We get an injury to any of our first 11 and we're in trouble. And I think what we could do with most is a new central midfielder, but also someone that's versatile with bags of energy. You know, that's my favourite stat in the game, stamina, and someone that is happy coming off the bench for Larson and Ugarte in those midweek games when required. And to me, there's only one man for that job. It's the Sunderland captain that might well be leading them to the Championship playoff final this season, but he's moved on in the save to St Etienne. Don't think I've used him before, but with that 90 stamina, balanced physicals, and good technicals in all areas as well, he is the perfect, absolutely perfect backup midfielder right now in the prime of his career. Dan Neil, let's bring him back to England and to the Northwest. There's nothing more fun for me, whether it's in career mode or football manager, when you take over a team for the first time ever, or when you finally got the budget to work with, where you can bring in the kind of squad that you want. And that's exactly what we're doing here this season with Manchester United. This team didn't have much of an identity when I took over last year, finishing in 7th place and trophyless, but now you're starting to see the blueprint taking shape of what kind of Red Devils team we're aiming to build. Hard-working, versatile, and willing to do whatever it takes to win. That to me is the Sunderland skipper in a nutshell, coming in on a 5-year, 40 grand a week deal. Welcome to to Old Trafford. Dan Neil, yeah, big fan of this guy, really big fan. And again, when you look at the energy this guy's got, the 90 stamina, granted, technically, there's a couple of red flags, but nothing major, really. He can be defensive, he can help going forward as well, but mostly with that 90 stamina, he'll run for days. Exactly the sort of player I want. And I would like to loan out some of our young talents as well to get them first team football. But speaking of Manchester United young talents that have moved abroad, many in this save have done that, including Aidan Heaven, the ex-Arsenal kid that was signed in January. I like the look at this guy. I think he's a really smart young defender and definitely has a bright future. In the save, moved on to Lons. Doesn't seem like he's played much there, but I'm going to bring him back and give him a bit of game time as my fourth choice centre-half. Let's bring him back. Yeah, Lenny Yoro is the centre-half I'll be aiming to bring back at some point, but in the first season, I don't think we're able to do that just yet. We can bring back this guy coming back to Old Trafford. Again, really decent young talent after leaving Arsenal, now coming to Manchester United, aiming for more game time, and he'll certainly get it under me as well due to our lack of quality and depth. So welcome back to Old Trafford, Aidan Heaven, showing great potential, only 20 years old, up to 73 overall, and again, that left foot means that when I do want to give Murillo a bit of a breather, this guy can fill in and play as his understudy. The pace, good enough to play in a high line, decent strength, and again, defensively as well, really solid. I'll take it. Speaking of bringing players back to Manchester United, well, I know you would have seen him on the shortlist in the first episode of the season, balling out in Seville right now with Real Betis. Anthony, I'm so proud of how he's turned his kind of career around a little bit after being a bit of a meme at Manchester United. Now he's getting the respect. He's earned that respect for how well he's done in Spain. But I'm going to leave him at RC Lons, but I will bring back the Manchester United Academy graduate Angel Gomez. I know he's been linked with a return to Old Trafford for next season. Right now, moving back to the Premier League with Fulham, and he's developed brilliantly as well, up to 82 overall in the prime at 26. Decent stamina, tremendous balance, excellent reading of the game, and technically, as we know, this guy has got so much flair, but also a bit of a jack of all trades, able to be defensively solid as well as fantastic going forward as well. Angel Gomez, let's bring him back. Yeah, he's been linked with a return to Manchester United in the summer, and we know why. Amorim is looking for those players that fit his system perfectly. It's one of the reasons they're going after Mateus Cunha at Wolves, and one of the reasons why I think he wants to bring this guy back to Old Trafford as well, because playing him behind a lone striker in one of those AM slots, he would be perfect. But in my team, with two CMs, two wingers and a striker, I'm not sure what one of those roles he'd be best at, but I'm sure we'll get some game time, no doubt about it. Coming back on a 5-year, 89 grand a week deal. Welcome home, Angel Gomez. Yeah, big fan of this guy since leaving Old Trafford, going out on loan to Portugal, and now going to Lille in the save. Returns to the Premier League, first with Fulham, and now back to Manchester United. I really like his stats. Really nimble, great agility, great balance, but again, technically as well. Defensively, solid, but also great going forward as well. The only question is, again, where do we play him? Would he be wasted as a CM? I don't think so. Not with the defensive stats and the great passing stats as well. But I think as a winger, it's probably where we get the best out of him. One of the two, I think. Yeah, we know exactly why he wants to go ahead and bring in Mateus from Wolves, because he'd be perfect in one of those AM slots. And again, in this system as a 5-2-3, you know, playing as a CM, he'd be totally fine there. But also, again, playing on the wing, I think he's great at that, even though, again, his finishing stat might not be the best. He's, again, got that amazing agility and balance, which is so handy for an inside forward, but also having a great pace as well. Just not sure he'd take Kubo's place or even Jadon Sancho's, really. So I guess the only question is, do we stick with the 5-2-3 that we technically inherited, or do we go with that, what am I doing here? Yeah, we know of Amorim's system, it's I guess what you call a 3-4-2-1, I suppose, in that case, where you got those two men on the flanks that are doubling up as fullbacks, but also it's the two CMs that are crucial in Amorim's system, really, supporting that striker, and that's where Angel Gomez would be best at. But I don't know, I kind of want to try the 5-2-3 first. So 7 new signings in, still tons of money to work with, but I think we should play our first game of the season now. We've been waiting long enough, and let's see if we can start off the win in our first game in charge of the Red Devils. Don't forget, our objectives this season are to win the FA Cup, tough but definitely doable, but also get back into Champions League places with a top 4 finish. Before we think about bringing Manchester United back to the glory days, we've got to get him back into the big time. First things first. To start with 3 points, our first game of the season, Crystal Palace away at Selhurst Park with our new look Manchester United team. Come on, the Red Devils. And all sorts of games getting underway. Thank you so much for all the messages and the comments in the last episode. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to spend too much time talking about it, but yeah, it's obviously been a difficult few weeks, but yeah, I appreciate the kind messages. Thank you very much. There's Jadon Sancho. Oh, wonderful. Oh, what a brilliant first goal that would have been in charge of Manchester United. Wonderful football, but it's the Docks special. Brilliant build-up, and I fluffed the finish. No matter what FC I'm playing, no matter what team I'm using, no matter what system we're operating with, it will always be the same way. Great build-ups, terrible finishes. It is exactly what we always seem to do, and it's why I don't score as many nice team goals as I possibly could. My build-ups are nice, my finishes are terrible, but Jadon Sancho almost got our first denied by the ex-Manchester United goalkeeper Kovar, crossed the far post, and I think at the far post Gomez would have been offside, but play continues. And eventually paddles will clear. Brilliant start. All we're missing is the opening goal. I've seen pre-game as well. I've given the armband to De Ligt. I wasn't really sure who to give it to, really, as Trafford makes a good save there. And Elliot Anderson gets it away. I had it down to a list of 3 candidates. Sancho, Ugarte and Mateus. And I went with De Ligt just because out of all 3, I'd say it's probably the more captain-worthy, I would say. I don't know. It was hard to choose, really, but I think that's not a bad choice. We still might change it as the season goes on. Because Udogie finds Jadon Sancho. Not worried about the armband right now. I'm just worried about the ball hitting the back of the net. And finally it does. Pressure pays off. Welcome back, Angel Gomez. Playing some good football here, I must say, as well. I'm really liking this. This is fluid work. As Sanchez takes his time. Come on. Yes, come on. Quick fire double for 2 of the new recruits. Gomez, Sanchez, Red Devils 2 goals up. What a first half. Yeah, alright, I'm feeling pretty confident with the 5-2-3 in that case. Again, I think we might switch between this and that 3-4-2-1, but this is perfect, man. I'm feeling really good with this. Now, again, I'm liking how the fact that the fullbacks, or wingbacks, I should say, they're not straying too far forward, but they are going to the right areas when need be on the offensive end. But defensively, I'm not getting too breached down the flanks either, so they're not too far upfield either. So this is working really well. Oh, as Kubo almost made it free. Kovar denies him, but this is how I wanted to start, man. You know, that new manager bounce that normally happens midway through the season. This is the perfect start to the beginning of the campaign. 2-0 up, but it really should be 3 or 4. It feels like it. That's the thing right now. As Antonio Silva clears it away. I'm not going to kid myself. I know there's going to be much harder games than that. But in terms of perfect starts, that was pretty much all I could have hoped for. Gomez and Sanchez with debut goals for the Red Devils and 3 points in my first game in charge. Long old season, but if we play like that every game, I have no doubt we'll be a top 4 team. That was perfect. And I've just agreed 2 of my youngsters to go out on loan as well. Lewis Jackson off to St Andrews as he joins Birmingham on loan. And Ethan Williams, really decent young talent, off to Coventry to learn under Frank Lampard. So our squad, again, a bit small, but because we're not playing in Europe, it shouldn't be that much of a deal. But I would still like 1 or 2 more squad players to come in. But before we make any more new signings, let's play our following game and probably end on this as well. Our first one at Old Trafford as Brighton come to the Northwest, aim to go 2 from 2 to start the season off. Same lineup, so hopefully same performance and same result as we're going to get back-to-back wins to kick the campaign off. Come on, the Red Devils. I think sometimes one of the big problems is our lack of consistency for a team that... Oh, what a save, James Trafford, and then the rebound by Ramos goes wide. For a team that wants to get back to where they were, sometimes they show flashes of that brilliance and then they just struggle in the following game. And we've seen that a lot with Manchester United this season, really. The difference between the performances in Europe and the Premier League have been absolutely staggering. I watched them play against Real Sociedad earlier this year and they were brilliant. And then the following game on the weekend, they might be taking on someone that normally they'd expect to win quite comfortably against, and they just get turned over. It's the lack of consistency that is something we'll need to improve on. There's a couple of games again this season I've watched him play in Europe, and oh, great save, and it's got to be turned in, and it is, as Sanchez gets his 2nd of the season already. You know, Bilbao away, for example, was a great example. They went into that game and I was thinking, oh, this is going to be a tough one for them, and they were absolutely sublime, particularly in that first half, winning 3-0 in the Basque region. But, for example, yesterday against West Ham, 2-0 loss at home, meaning they're likely to, not guaranteed, but likely to finish either 16th or 17th this season in the Premier League. If we want to get Manchester United back to the glory days, we've got to improve on that kind of consistency. I'm really liking the look of Sanchez up top, and Trafford going for back-to-back clean sheets. You know, we sold Chevalier, but I've trusted James to stay as our number 1 for this year, and, well, in this game he's proven that might prove to be a brilliant decision. Still leading by 1, but easily could be 2 goals down here. And our defence will need to tighten up. Can't keep relying on Trafford to bail me out. There's Gomez. Looking for his second goal in 2 games. Brilliant dribbling, going all the way. Angel Gomez! 2 for Sanchez, 2 for Gomez. Dream start for the lads. Turning up in the first half once again. Oh, no. Ritter into the middle. No, that was coming. That was coming. Ramos with the finish, and finally Trafford is beaten. How had he made those brilliant saves so early there? Weren't going to get away with it for the 3rd time in a row. 2-1. Defense has been really poor in this game. We might be in front, but really we should be behind. Sanchez holds it up well. And still Sanchez. And still Sanchez. Oh, good save. Ugarte down the line finds Sancho. With Denzel Dumfries to be wonderful, brilliant, excellent. Oh yeah, that has got to be one of the best assists I've had in FC 25 so far. I like that Pavlidis assist for Benfica. Oh, absolutely brilliant dribbling from the left-hand side, cutting infield, rolling it across, and Angel Gomez gets his 3rd in 2 games and 2nd of the afternoon. Yeah, we made a lot of new signings, but already this guy is looking like he could be the best bargain of the lot. If you haven't seen that Pavlidis assist, by the way, I will try and remember to leave a link to it in the description. Believe me when I tell you, it's one of the... Oh, what a game. Matt O'Reilly makes it 3-2, one of the best assists I've ever seen. Absolutely sensational dribbling and a perfect offload. I think had a nutmeg in it as well. Incredible. You know I'm a sucker for a nice assist. And Pavlidis and Gomez both providing one apiece. But as it's 3-2, this has been an incredible game. Again, the defense has been really poor in this one. But when that's the case, you just got to score more. 11 minutes to go. Game's not over yet. Getting a bit nervous here. Trying to play the ball around on this wet turf. Zipping across as we still lead by 1. Yeah, just getting a bit nervous here as we aim to see this out. Don't want to throw away a cheap chance by committing too many bodies forward. That's a brilliant ball, and this will wrap it up. Game over, and that will do it. Sancho's 1st of the year. Red Devils wrap it up. Defensively poor, but going forward, well, Manchester United this season being accused of being a bit toothless at times. It's safe to say this season we're looking like we've got a fresh pair of dentures. I don't know what on earth that means, but what I do know is it's going to be back-to-back wins to start the season off. And that'll do it for today's episode of the Realistic Career, guys. Big fan. You thought you enjoyed it. If you had, then please do drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day. I'll return in the next one with the Carabao Cup, our first cup game with Manchester United. We'll have more games in the Premier League aiming to build an all 100% star, and we should probably still make 1 or 2 mil signs with plenty of money in the budget and a week to go before the window slams shut. Have a great day. Much love, and I'll see you for the next episode very soon.